What is happening, guys? Welcome to the channel and to another video, and thank you first and foremost for taking a moment of your day to tune in. It's really appreciated. Today, a video that needs absolutely no introduction. It's something that DJs have been talking about for the last couple of days since the product launched. I am of course talking about the brand new CDJ 3000 that launched a couple of days ago onto the market. And in this video I'm going to give you an overview of all the new features of this unit, as well as giving you my own opinion on if I feel that this unit is worth the eye-watering price of £2,000, yes, you heard it right, £2,169 here in the UK, or $2,299 US. Let's get straight into it. Okay, so first and foremost, and really important to note, this is not a CDJ, it's just a media player. I don't know why Pioneer is still calling it CDJ, but yeah, the CD drawer is gone. I mean, to be quite honest, I don't know of any DJs that are still using CDs to DJ on. If you are still using CDs, you have my utmost respect. But to be quite honest, even on my Nexus ones that I recently sold, the CD drawer never got used. So to be quite honest, it's not going to be missed, I don't think, by many people. The only thing that's a little bit confusing is why still call it a CDJ. They could call this an XDJ or MDJ or something like that. I don't know, maybe I'm missing something, but there we go, it's not a CDJ. The first major change to this unit is actually internal to the device. Pioneer are boasting an all-new microprocessing unit, which is far more powerful than the one in the CDJ 2000 Nexus 2. This will improve track load times, apparently it improves sound quality, and also as well allows for much more powerful firmware updates further down the line. What those firmware updates will include, well, that remains to be seen, but apparently this is what this new chip will allow. Personally, I've never had an issue with the track load times on the CDJ 2000 Nexus 2s, but if you are a bit impatient and can't wait 1 or 2 seconds, then this is going to be a massive upgrade for you. So looking at the unit top down, we have a much larger screen coming in at 9.1 inches, full color as expected, and it's fully touchscreen again as expected. It looks like they've improved the menu system to make the workflow a lot quicker, and what's really good to see is rather than using that little dial to the right hand side to load tracks, we can now scroll through and load a track that way into the player, which is really good to see. Something that Denon has done for a number of years now, so it's good to see something similar coming to Pioneer. I don't think it's quite as intuitive with sort of swiping right, swiping left, swiping up, so not as many gestures available on this, but it's certainly a step in the right direction. Another new feature that they're boasting is the link preview. So to the left of each track you get a little waveform, and you can preview a track without even loading it onto the deck. Really good in terms of saving time, especially if you can't remember what a drop's like in a track, or you want to almost preview a second drop while that first track is still playing, so you can almost do both simultaneously. You can only do this though if you've got the players linked into a Pioneer mixer, so it has to be linked via the Ethernet cables. Now, what is a little bit cheeky about this feature is that it is brand new if you're DJing off of a USB or an SD card. However, if like me, you use a laptop to DJ in export mode and you link up the laptop in this way, you've always been able to do this. For them to come out and say this is a brand new feature is not quite true, but nevertheless, it's new for USB and SD card. Another improvement on the screen side of things is the stacked waveform, so you can have the master player playing up on the top in terms of a waveform, and then the player that you're cueing with the waveform underneath, which can certainly help with beat matching. In terms of some of the other features that this unit has, you now have 8 individual hotkeys directly underneath the screen. The hotkeys, which were arranged on the CDJ 2000 Nexus 2 in 2 banks of 4 to the left hand side of the player, have now moved, and you get 8 individual hotkey buttons. It's important to note that these are hotkeys only, they're not performance pads. That being said, beat jump and beat loop, which are typically seen on these kind of performance pads, are still features On the player, they just don't feature under these pads. Now, personally, in terms of placement of these hot cube pads, it's great to see that we've got 8 individual pads, but I think the placement is perhaps a little bit clumsy because they're right below a touch sensitive touch screen and they're right above a touch sensitive or impact sensitive jog wheel. The industry standard for controllers and other players for a while now has been to put these performance pads directly beneath the jog wheel, so I'm not sure about the placement of those. One of the other cool new features on this unit that Pioneer are really gone to town with is key sync mode in addition to the BPM sync mode. This is going to be particularly useful for creative mixing in terms of making mashups on the fly that always are in key, but also as well it makes for some really cool effects as you can adjust the key using the touch screen on the fly, and it makes for some quite cool sound effects. Other new features that come to this device is an all new screen in the center of the jog wheel. Not sure if you can display the album artwork, and it certainly doesn't look as feature packed as that found in the center of the DDJ 1000, but nevertheless it's a bit of an upgrade from the one that we have seen previously. On the back of this device we also have a locking power connection, which means no more pulling out plugs by accident mid-set, which is also good to see. So there we have it, guys, a very quick overview of some of the key features of the CDJ 3000 and biggest upgrades from the CDJ 2000 Nexus 2s. Now my opinion, do I think this is a good device? And the answer is yes. If I turned up to a club tomorrow, yes, clubs aren't open, but imagine I turned up to a club tomorrow. If I saw these in the DJ booth, I wouldn't feel intimidated by them. I know the Pioneer kind of architecture, I know the layout, I could plug in, play, and off I go. And to be fair to Pioneer, it's got all of the features that I personally would need to deliver a creative and a good quality DJ set to my crowd. So from that standpoint, yeah, they've done a good job. I wouldn't need to rush out, buy these players and practice on them and learn a whole new way of DJing to be able to use these in a working environment. Here's my problem though. What you get for your money, £2,169. These players represent absolutely terrible value for money. Denon, for £1,000 less, have a player out there that is far more technologically advanced. It has Wi-Fi on board. It has analysis on the go. With this Pioneer product, if you download a track, you can't just stick it straight on a USB. You still have to go through the record box software. It doesn't have the dual layers in terms of the decks. Denon have had that for years. So Denon have got a massive advantage in that their players are far more advanced and they're still £1,000 less than these brand new Pioneer CDJ 3000s. Now, in my opinion, I think the move to not put onboard Wi-Fi on the players is done on purpose because I think they want to push people towards that streaming enabled subscription service on Rekordbox. That is why they've done that. But come on, you know, this is a player that we've been waiting for 4 years. They could have released this 2 years ago because there's nothing revolutionary about it. It's evolutionary, not revolutionary. And I feel like what we're seeing in terms of DJing is almost like the Apple and Samsung argument. Apple released massively successful phones, but Samsung users say, well, we've had that on our phones for years. But yet Apple is still successful. And I think it's similar with Pioneer. So are these players good? Yeah, they're all right. But there's nothing on here that really excites me. There's nothing on these players that makes me think, oh my God, I've got to go and buy these right now. And to be quite honest, for the price of 2 of these players plus a mixer, I'd rather go and buy a new car. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments. I'm really intrigued to know. But until the next time, thank you for watching. Do hit the subscribe button if you're interested in this type of thing, and I will see you next week.